The modernist, innovation-driven ideology that gave us vertical forests and wind turbines that don't turn is the same ideology that gave us car-dependent suburbs and soulless housing estates. Le Corbusier himself said, "We will have our cars. We must use them until they are worn out, grinding down roads, surfaces and gears, burning up oil and gasoline, everything that is needed for a huge amount of work, enough for everyone." This consumerist approach to architecture, build it cheap, write it off in 50 years, demolish and build again, is fundamentally unsustainable. Traditional architecture represents the opposite philosophy. Build it to last, build it beautifully, and build it to be inherited by future generations. As Ettore Mazzola brilliantly put it, we don't need more visionaries to solve non-existent problems. We need to solve existing problems with solutions that have already been proven to work. We need inheritable cities, places that last for centuries, not decades. We need to revive traditional building techniques and craftsmanship that create buildings with lower embodied carbon and longer lifespans. And we need to stop falling for greenwashing that looks good in renderings but fails to deliver real sustainability. Past decades, we've seen an explosion of so-called sustainable architecture. Towers covered in trees, buildings with integrated wind turbines, facades plastered with solar panels. They look impressive in renderings and they certainly photograph well. But there's a problem. Many of these buildings don't actually deliver on their green promises. Problems with green architecture go much deeper because what almost nobody talks about is the massive carbon footprint these buildings create just to exist in the first place. This is called embodied carbon, the CO2 emissions from producing materials like concrete, steel and glass, and from the construction process itself. And for buildings like vertical forests, these numbers are staggering. Let me show you what I mean. The Bosco Verticale in Milan is one of the most celebrated green buildings of the world. Covered in 20,000 plants and 800 trees, it's been copied in cities from China to the Netherlands, winning awards and appearing on every architectural magazine cover. To support all those trees in the earth they grow in, which add enormous weight, the floor slabs had to be made much thicker than normal. A typical post-tensioned concrete floor slab for an 8-meter span should be about 20 centimeters thick, but the Bosco Verticale's floor slabs are 28 centimeters. That's 8 centimeters of extra concrete, just to carry the trees on every floor. To produce all that extra concrete, on top of the concrete that would be used anyway, a lot of additional CO2 is produced, and we're not even counting the extra steel reinforcement that is needed. Also, there are additional costs to such a tower. The specialized soil systems, the irrigation, or the maintenance. Each resident has to pay a whopping 1,500 euros per month for the gardeners to maintain the 20,000 bushes and 800 trees. And if you visit the towers, you'll see how these buildings completely ignore their surroundings. Black mirrored glass and fences make the building look like a hostile fortress. Instead of being friendly and inviting, you're met by blank glass walls that kill any interaction. Essentially, it turns its back to the city. The same is true for its cousin in the Netherlands, the Trudeau Tower. It sits on an alienating black metal box, with a strip of glass underneath. It's not exactly welcoming or warm. Chengdu, China, the Qiji City Forest Garden became a nightmare. With hardly any residents to care for the plants, the vegetation overran the towers. Even worse, the buildings became infested with mosquitoes, making them nearly uninhabitable. But the green building hype isn't just about vertical forests. Even buildings with prestigious green certifications often fail to deliver. A study found that LEED certified commercial buildings, on average, show no significant primary energy savings over comparable non-LEED buildings. But here's the crucial difference. Modern buildings are designed to last 30 to 50 years. They're essentially disposable, while traditional buildings were designed to last forever. Many are still standing after 500 years, and are still beautiful, still functional and still loved. When you spread the embodied carbon of a building over 500 years instead of 50, the equation changes completely. And this is the key aspect of sustainability that is overlooked today.